there, welcome back. And if you are new, I am botanical watercolor artist and this is the channel for all things watercolor. As you can see, we're going to be painting Bird of Paradise this week. I have always wanted to paint this flower and I actually never did, so I thought that's the time. So in this video we're going to be painting all these beautiful bright yellow and orange parts. And so the trick is, and the tricky part perhaps, is how to achieve that yellow and orange to be very vibrant and also have this natural shadow color in it. So the key is a good planning, as it is in most areas of our lives. So we're gonna start by applying sort of underlayer colors, which would be our yellows, because they are a lighter color, and usually with watercolors you start from lighter and going to the darker colors. That's not always the case, but most of the time. So for that first layer we want to have this very nice bright cool yellow, which I used lemon yellow for, and then slightly warmer yellow that I added quinacridone gold to. So normally I paint wet on wet all my foundation and base layers, but because we're using two colors and we want that yellow to cover all of the petals, because we want it to shine through all our oranges as well, so I use that first cool yellow as my water glaze, as if I would be painting wet on wet. So I cover my petal with this watery bright lemon yellow, and then while that glaze is damp I start introducing that warmer yellow to all of the areas except leaving those sort of, let's call it highlight areas, because they don't have white highlights, these petals, but they do have bright yellow ones. So I want to cover most of the part with warm yellow as well, except those few parts that shine through as a highlight with a very light yellow. And so that's the step we're gonna do on all of the petals. When you paint with watercolors and with wet glazes, you want to keep your distance when you paint each petal, because you can't paint right next to the petal you just painted, because because of water and wet areas right next to it, the color is gonna flow into each other and disturb the settling glazes. So when you paint one petal, make sure when you paint the other one it doesn't touch the one that you just painted. And just like that, we're going to paint all of the petals, and then will be a second layer where we start introducing bright oranges.
Hey, I heard you got a new best friend. Yeah, it hurts a bit, I won't pretend that it doesn't matter that you're with someone else. In a way, that's how it's supposed to be. If I'm unable to make you happy, then it's for the better that you are not with me. That's why I wrote you a letter, 'cause you see I write so much better than I speak. And I need to tell you, you were my best friend till the end. I hope I'll be happy without you, but right now I don't know what to do. It's hard to get over, you chose someone else, a new best friend.
So this step will be very similar to the one we just did, but this time we will be using some water for wet on wet technique. So our orange, I'm using of course this amazing red orange color, and for second mix, red orange, but I'm adding some rose madder lake to it. Why rose madder lake? It's because that's the color I'm gonna be using later on that main body part where you see some pink colors. Usually you want to try and use minimal palette for all your mixes to keep your painting cohesive and not colors clashing with each other. So this time I'm gonna apply a very gentle water glaze without rubbing and scrubbing, because we already have those very bright yellows, so we don't want to start disturbing them and lifting them. So what we do is quickly apply water with minimal amount of brush strokes and start introducing our first lighter orange in all of the parts except the ones that we want some yellow to show through. Again, those sort of highlighted areas. So I start with very basic layer of orange, then clean my brush, take the water out, and you lift off with clean down brush the areas that you want to be clean, basically that yellow to shine through. And we don't wait any much longer, so we want the glaze to still stay damp, and then I'll pick up our darker, more red-like orange, and we start introducing darker shadowy parts. So we don't cover as big of an area now, but focus rather on those darker parts of the petal. And that's the stuff we're gonna do on all of the petals.
Get some rest. I'm by your side. Lay your head on my chest. I know you've had a really bad day, but I'm right here, it's gonna be okay. The world could fall down, it's gonna be okay. The sun could go out, we're gonna be okay. If all the blue skies fade to gray, we're gonna be okay. Calm your soul, hold my hand, don't let go.
So as I'm painting with those beautiful oranges, I noticed we have a little bit of sort of color that shines through the petals. So that would be blue color shining through the orange and creates that gray-like appearance here and there. So I mixed a little bit of neutral tint with some already existing colors that we're using, try to achieve that a little bit brownish color and introduce into my mix as I'm applying my orange color. So with those two layers we are nearly done, and what we need to do now is, using wet and dry method, we need to intensify the colors, just glaze over the petals, smaller sections at a time, with quite watery transparent colors, just to make the colors a little bit more brighter and more vibrant and luminous. And we also can introduce a little bit of gray here and there where we still missed out, and just put a little bit finer detail, because when you paint with wet on wet, it's harder to be detailed because the colors flow everywhere. So, but wet on dry, meaning you don't wet the paper before, you paint with damp paint on top of dry paper, and you can then be a little bit more detailed, and glazing smaller sections at a time, you soften the edges of each glaze with clean damp brush. That way we can just be a little bit more detailed into those nooks and crannies, apply a little bit of grace, a little bit more shadow color, intensify the lines and sharpen all the petals. So the goal is to just intensify that saturation of color. So now that we have all the orange parts finished, we can paint in those really dark blue parts. So I cleared my palette and start mixing up some colors, and for that I'm using Indian Throne Blue, which is just perfect color for the areas that I need to paint. Also, I want a blue color that has a little bit more pink or sort of magenta in it. In few areas you can see the blue just merges together with this violet color. So I'm just adding a bit of quinacridone magenta into my blue. Then I'm also going to be using a stronger magenta color for just a few areas here and there where magenta is quite strong. Also, of course, we're going to need some pink right at the base of each part. And so because those areas, the sections are quite smaller and they also are very dark, meaning they don't have color fade from very light to dark where you want to achieve very smooth transitions. That means we can paint straight away with color without wetting the paper before, because we want to achieve those really dark colors. So we're going to need quite a few layers. We can just start off painting wet on dry, but if there's an area like there is going to be a little section where the transition is quite smooth from darker to lighter, then we're going to apply a little bit of water on the paper. That way we can create those transitions more easily. But other than that, if the area is just fully dark, you can just paint straight on it without wetting the paper before, because water sort of is going to dilute the color, and if you don't need any transitions, there's no need for it. So I'm starting mapping all the colors and sections that we have to paint at this point, and distributing the color accordingly. And I'm just gonna keep layering the colors from going from lighter to darker until I achieve that really dark blue. So pay attention on the highlights and where you want to leave sections lighter, because the contrast between light and dark is very important in achieving a realistic look in your paintings. Also, full step-by-step tutorial of this plant is on my Patreon page. So if you would like to paint together with me and follow along in real time, there are full-length step-by-step tutorials there on my Patreon. I'm gonna put the link down below in the description box. I provide the line drawings, material lists, and reference photos, and of course a guide from start to finish. So if you would like to become my patron, then click the link below and I'll see you there. Other than that, continue with the video.
Tear my world apart.
So we are nearly finished with this part 1, and stay tuned for part 2 when we finish painting this flower and we paint the leaves and the main body. And I hope you enjoyed, so if you did, thumbs up, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next videos. Thank you, bye!